Elena's Barre low-impact full-body workouts. On this channel, you find different fitness format workouts that will help you to lose fat, tone up your muscles, improve your posture, balance, gain overall strength, stamina, endurance, and flexibility. Check more classes on Elena at Elena's Barre Patreon. Join us for my crazy piano practice and various music challenges with Elena's Barre community on Sundays. Try out different comments during our live streams and see what happens. On Saturdays, we talk about controversial topics that can trigger you. If you'd like to dive in deeper into interesting topics and discussions with us, please support our new YouTube channel, The Resurgence, at The Resurgence of Sanity. If you'd like to call in and share your story during our live streams, please check our community rules and guidelines. You can also read my articles on Elena's Barre Substack and tell me what you think about the topics. You participate in all of our activities voluntarily at your own risk and discretion. Read the disclaimer in the description box. If you don't want to be mentally or physically challenged, I suggest that you skip this video. Thank you for your understanding. Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back. Welcome back to Elena's Barre Low Impact Full Body Workouts, and welcome to the Resurgence, our new YouTube channel that I hope that you subscribe and support, guys. Today we have an interesting topic. We are going to talk about the boomers and why the millennials and everyone blames everything on boomers. I don't know about you guys, but we certainly think that way. And yeah, I think there were a lot of historical events that were happening during that time that kind of shaped boomers' mindset. And we are going to dive in deeper into this topic. But before we do so, please remember to like the video. Please subscribe to our new YouTube channel and leave us your comments. Tell us what you think about these topics, okay? So yeah, Steve, let's start with you because I think you are sort of on the edge right there.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to chime in later. I want you to blame boomers, and I'm going to defend boomers.
Okay.
So, hey, but before we get there, I want you to show you something. I wore a special shirt today. It says Angry Beaver Patrol.
Okay.
So that means I'm going to blame women, okay?
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
I would blame them
well,
too.
And other people.
Okay.
I should have seen that coming.
Yeah, Nick, what's your take? Okay, since we are doing it, let's everyone allow to express what position they're going to take here. So, Nick, what's your take here?
Yeah, the boomers are a lot to blame, but everybody has to take their own personal responsibility regardless of the situation they find themselves in.
That's true. Emma, what's your take?
Yeah, they do have a lot to answer for, but yeah, I suppose it's like you said, they've gone through a lot of change and seen the world change a lot, and I mean that's a lot to adapt to.
True. So let's determine how old are the boomers approximately. I know that there is the marketing determination, and marketing people are trying to reduce the age.
Well, Plutarch and I did a stream on that. Mm-hmm. And for most of my life, I've seen the acceptable range of those born after World War II, 1946, up until 1964. So a lot of people define boomers as that age. On the stream Plutarch and I did, and I guess it was defined by the fourth turning, and then the analysis done by I think it was the Federal Reserve on asset classes. They defined it as 1942 to 1960.
Ah, okay.
But these are kind of fluid. I mean, it's that generation. However you define it, we can blame them for all the stuff they're responsible for. I don't really think it's that important. But the people in the crossover years, they kind of halfway identify with boomers and halfway identify maybe with Gen X, but they got one foot in each generation, kind of.
Yeah. So they can kind of speak to both. They can speak to boomers and the X's as well.
Well, they can speak to both, or they can choose to blame the boomers or blame the Gen X.
Right.
No, it's a great position.
Well, I always lived with boomers saying, "Oh, you stupid millennials, blah blah blah. You can't pot to piss in, window to throw it out of." Basically, you don't know how to work hard and for what you need to have in life, and blah 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 blah.
Well, back when I was growing up, I bought a house and I just did what I needed to do. Now you're complaining, but you don't work as hard as I did when I was a kid, and no wonder your life is screwed up.
This is actually what I usually hear from boomers. Funny enough that you mentioned it, Steve. Yeah. They like the times were different back then. What I noticed also, they kind of try to compare the current generation, how millennials approach things, right? Millennials are not in a rush to have kids, a lot of them. And I see that boomers are kind of, well, when we were young, we raised a family, we worked, we did all sorts of things. We also bought houses, considering the fact that houses back then were more affordable, right? Most people had a single family household where mothers stayed at home. Now, we shame this horse, right, for being independent, but good luck affording a family on a single income. Like, so many things have changed since then, and I think that this is something that only a few boomers, let's give them the benefit of doubt, right? We are nice people here. So only a few boomers would consider.
Yeah.
I think.
In some ways they can have good advice, but in some ways they're really out of touch with the reality of what younger generations are going through. Like, oh yeah, I paid for a car with my own money. I saved up. Yeah, you had a 3-year loan and it didn't break the bank to pay for a basic car. But now the government basically requires these cars for 7, 8, now 10-year loans. I mean, I even heard about 10-year loans when I sold cars. I never saw one, but I saw 84 months and 72 months was a standard. But these people could barely afford these, medium cost vehicles. Now, if you want a really nice pickup truck, it's 60, 70, sometimes $100,000. I'm like, that's like the price of a house.
Yeah, that it used to be back in the boomer stage, right? Good luck buying a house for millennials now. The prices are so overpriced, and the loans, this is something that I talked to my husband many times. A lot of people look at the interest rate. They say, but the interest rate is so low. Well, have you checked the face value of the house? How high it is? And do you realize that the loan, the interest rate is just the percentage based on the face value? So if the face value is through the roof, guess what? You will be overpaying so much. You could buy maybe another house if the housing prices were not insane. This is where they are out of touch with reality. And then when it comes to children, they're like, but we did it. We raised the kids. We, had the jobs. We had the houses. We pulled it off. And some people do it. Well, if you actually talk to the millennials and ask them how they do it, they are deep inside with dads. This is how they do it. Or they get help from their parents. Which is fine with that, because I think this is actually the I think Stephen pointed it out, stewardship, right, Steve? You pointed out last time.
Yeah, I
before.
did. But back when I was young, my parents didn't give me any help. And I went out and I had to do it on my own and buy my own house. And now these young kids, they expect me to help them buy a house and all this stuff. Why should I do that?
No, what did they do 100, 150 years ago? Actually, they did set up their children to live nearby, where they could have family nearby, help take care of each other and look after each other's houses and children, et cetera, et cetera. And they also gave them part of land and might have even sometimes given them a house. And then later on, the parents, when they got older, the children would take care of the parents. And
Well,
that's
that was
just
a
how it
social
worked.
contract.
That was reality up until 100 years ago, if not less.
Well, we have to go into history here.
Yeah.
Well, let's do it. Let's do it. Guys.
It was what Nick talks about was reality up
Mhm.
until the implementation of Social Security,
Mhm.
which happened in the Great Depression in the 30s. And that took care of the people who were born in the late 1800s, and they gained from that. So consider, instead of just blaming boomers, we have to consider, what was it like growing up as a boomer?
Yep.
Okay, so the boomers came of age in the early boomers came of age in around 1962.
Oh, they are hippies?
When was it? Sorry,
Wow, were they?
Sorry, I'm derailing you.
No, you're not. Okay, but before what did they call them before the hippies? What were they called in the 1950s and early 60s? Oh, they were called the beatniks.
Okay.
Okay.
Then he came into the sexual revolution.
Mhm.
The free love.
Yeah.
Okay, who is responsible for that era?
Archie Bunker.
Was he a boomer?
No. His son was.
Well, I mean, here's my point. The people who implemented those changes were not the boomers, because they were not in charge. They were just young teenagers, early 20s, whatever. Didn't know shit, but they act on their passions, which, hey, everybody in their 20s wants sex, and they don't want to accept all the consequences.
Right.
So the conditions were set up for the boomers to have this free love and, be out. I don't know what the right word is. Not dealing with reality, just
escapism. Drugs to escape.
Escapism, seeking pleasure.
Mhm.
And they were subject to the Vietnam War.
Right.
And that affected a lot of things. So the boomers, they were affected by society and the propaganda, and they went and they had their fun. But they got serious after that. But think about this, the economy was still doing pretty well.
Right.
You really didn't need a college education to make a decent living.
Nope.
And houses were low priced, and so they could do what they wanted to do in the traditional sense, but society had changed. So what else happened in the 60s?
Feminism. Well, I mean, it's always
feminism had been around.
Mhm.
But what enabled the sexual revolution?
Hormonal birth control.
Yes, that would be it.
No, and abortion. And abortion being
abortion,
legal.
exactly.
Well, okay, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But, about 1960 was when they were developing the hormonal birth control pill.
Yeah.
There was a big controversy in around 1960 And I think, well, the Anglican Church had accepted birth control in 1930. So the concept of it. And then up until that time, no Christian denominations agreed with birth control. They were all very staunch on that. Then it came and it became legal, and the Catholic Church addressed that in, well, contraception was addressed in the encyclical Casti Connubii in about 1930. But then in the 60s, they came out with Humanae Vitae, which was birth control, but mostly abortion. So those were big issues. And okay, those issues were not caused by the boomers. The boomers reacted and were growing up in this turmoil. And life was very uncertain with the war and all these changes. And that's when you had Vatican II, which changed the whole Catholic Church, the approach from a more traditional, Latin Mass discipline to more of a all are welcome, inclusive type thing. So don't want to say what's right, what's wrong. I'm just saying there was this movement. The boomers were all caught up in this.
Oh yeah, and really, the people, their parents were raised not in a really good environment. They were raised in a similar loose environment that went on pause for like 10, 15, 20 years in the roaring 20s.
Yeah,
with all the flappers and spending money and all sorts of loose stuff.
And then all the austerity of the 30s. I mean, there was a lot of poverty. In my family, my dad tells me stories about when he was growing up, because he was born in 35, when they needed money, cash money, they'd put a bag of grain on the side of the Model T and drive to town and sell that bag of grain to get some dollars.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they had chickens and cows on the farm. They sold milk. They were pretty self-sufficient, and you only needed cash money for certain things. So and then in World War II, there was no tinfoil on the gum wrappers, because you couldn't have that because of the war effort. They needed all the materials. So they grew up in that environment. But come the boomers, okay, there's no more austerity. And so that was a radical change. But things worked out for the boomers. Okay, I entered the workforce in 1985. But I remember in the early 80s, Microsoft just came out. Stock was cheap. And whoever invested then, man, the stock market has gone up dramatically since then. So in some ways, the boomers have only experienced good times, and it's kind of bailed them out from all their bad decisions. And a lot of traditional stuff that Nick was talking about was lost during that time period. So you can point back to the generation before the boomers that handed the boomers all these conditions, and then the boomers deal with what they have, and they're no more with it or intelligent than anybody else when they're younger, at least.
Yeah, the previous generation had them a silver platter.
Yeah.
Well, kind of, but they handed them all the shit of these changes. It's the previous generation that allowed all these things to take place that affected the boomers.
Yeah, exactly. It's the parents of the boomers, right? And somebody like in between the two generations. Wow, we have some comments here. Let's see. Smoking Patreon, thank you for your kind support. Let's look in the boomers era. An 18-year-old could go straight to the factory and work hard and make a living and learn skills. What does an 18-year-old have for work with 0 degree now. I agree.
Go to the oil field.
Become a trucker. It'll take
Yep.
you 6 weeks to get your CDL. You'll have to scrounge to get your first job, but after a year to 18 months, you're set. And a truck driver, CDL truck driver like I am, is where I'm at, is easily able to make $75,000 to $100,000 a year.
I mean, you just have to be willing to work and look outside what everybody else is telling you at that age.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, there are paths, and it's not as easy. I'm not going to
Yeah.
say it's easy.
it's possible. But this overemphasis on degree also, a lot of jobs that men do, they don't really require degrees, right? Because it's mostly like manual job. If we are talking about truckers, you don't really need a degree there. If we are talking about plumbers, you just like it's a different skill set that is not really taught in college today, unless you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, or somebody where the degree is necessary, right? But this is why colleges is mostly female dominant now, because women study, okay. Women are not good with the manual work, not so much, right? Only maybe you will meet a few women out there who can do it, but
Okay, Elena, what about a manager of a Walmart? Do you need a degree or not?
well, if you ask a feminist, I would say, yeah, sure, you get a degree, then the more degrees you get, then you'll be a manager there. And there are a lot of women who are studying managerial positions in college, how to be a business owner, how to do accounting, all of these kinds of jobs that don't actually that are easily substituted with a intelligence, right, with the technology. So you see women select these kind of useless specialties.
So you know what Walmart decided in the last year?
What
you said is bullshit.
Okay.
Because there's been all this emphasis on getting degrees. At Walmart was one of them, and the tech industry is another one.
Yeah.
And they were hiring all these people with degrees for these positions. And they weren't performing that well. So, and they, the tech industry, a lot of men especially, but probably women too, come in with just a passion, and they learn on their own, and they know what's going on, and they work themselves up into a coder and project manager, whatever. And Walmart found the same thing. And they said, screw this. You no longer need a college degree. You come and work for us.
Mm-hmm.
Start out wherever you want to start, stocking shelves, patrolling the floor, supervisor, whatever. And if you're good, we're going to promote you. And you can now, the career path is open to be a manager of a Walmart. And you're going to be making 6 figures, a little bit more, whatever it is. It's a pretty good salary. But no longer are we going to hold you back because you don't have the degree. So this idea that you need a degree is kind of starting to fade away.
Well, and I'm glad to see it. Okay, Emma, go.
A degree doesn't equal experience.
Right.
It demonstrates staying power, and that you can commit to something, but it doesn't equal experience.
Yeah. And I see a lot of entitled women out there with a bunch of degrees who have fancy websites, but they don't know basically how to talk to people. They are so messed up in their head that they think that they come on your show or elsewhere and they own you. And then you're supposed to bend your guard and like do everything. And yes, here I am going to kiss the floor that you walk on. Like just because you have this fucked up degree that nobody really cares about.
Right.
Come on.
That's because But that's because they're empowered.
Yeah. Well, I view college, it's just an extraction of resources and money, because in the end it teaches women, okay, and because women, I'm not saying that all college degrees are bad, but for the most part women select what's easy. They either go for communications, there are a bunch of them in psychology, there are a lot of women who teach who study business administration, right? All of these degrees that are kind of useless. They're like paper pushing jobs for the most part. You know, women don't go learn how to be a plumber. They don't go learn how to be an electrician. You might find a few. Like we've actually met one woman who was studying it, but they're the exception out of the rule. For the most part, women choose what's easy. And college is just extracting the resources from these women. So these women, by the time that they are done with their degrees, they have huge loans because college is not cheap. And
No, it's not.
then, yeah, and then they spend their lifetime working to pay off their school debt. Or even better, guys, check this. They want a high-value man to bail them out from their financial stupid decisions that they decided to pursue. Okay, I'm going to be the first.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's not their fault.
Well, okay.
It was the boomers that told them they should.
That is true.
Yeah.
They said if you just get a degree, all the doors and everything's going to open up for you. You'll be set for life. Just get a degree. I remember listening to that crap as a kid, and then I got my degree.
Okay.
Like, nah. And I got my first job after college. Like, you went to college for this?
Okay, I want to go way back to Genesis.
Oh, yeah, me too, right.
When something went wrong, the fall.
Yeah, the fall of the man.
Okay, who did Eve blame?
The man.
Serpent.
Oh no, the serpent. The serpent. Yeah.
The serpent. Who did the man blame?
The woman.
The
And
woman.
God. And God. You actually
Yeah, okay. So this idea of blaming somebody else
right.
Yeah.
has been around forever. Okay, now that kid who steals a cookie from the cookie jar with crumbs all over his face and chocolate chip stains on his fingers. Does he take responsibility when he's caught?
No.
Well, my sister told me I should do it. Or you know, whatever. I was hungry. You haven't fed me.
That blames his stomach as well.
I mean, he's going to blame. Okay, so now let's talk about blame. Okay, who to blame? Who do we blame? Well, you know, the millennials and Xers blame the boomers. Men blame women. Oh, women are changed. They're not the same way they used to be.
Yeah.
Women blame men. Oh,
Yeah.
where are all the good men?
Yep.
And then we blame other races. Oh no, it's, you know, our society's going to hell because of the blacks. Or if you're black, oh, it's because of the whites, or it's because of Hispanics, or the Native Americans, or here's a great one, blame the Jews. Or, you know what? It's going to hell because the immigrants. We got too damn many immigrants coming across the border. Or we blame the British Empire. Wow, those British have been controlling things for years and they're manipulating things. Or here's a new one that Elena will like. Blame the Russians.
It's her fault. I knew it.
Or you know what? We can blame those Arabs.
Or Russians usually blame the Americans, you know.
Okay, well, I'm getting okay. You brought that up. Blame the Americans because American culture has gone anywhere. Or we're gonna blame those damn Chinese. Okay, so blame other races. Okay, racism. Let's just call that racism. It's just natural. Let's not get too excited and point fingers. Yeah. Or, if you're a conspiracy theorist, you're going to blame the rich or the elite or the powers that be that got us where we're at.
Siege.
Oh, man, this world is the way it is because of the Christians. You know what? We had
Yeah.
ancient religions before that, and everything was great. Or the Christians blame the non-Christians. And then if you're Christian, well, you know what? If it wasn't for those evangelicals, we would have
Yeah.
traditional religion. Or you know what? The Protestants, they rebelled against Christianity and formed their own sect. Or the Protestant says, it was those damn Catholics. Those damn Catholics. We had to, and they're still screwed up. So, hey, this is just an exercise in finding someone to blame. And do each one of these groups, people, have something to be blamed for? Sure. But it's an exercise in passing the blame. That doesn't mean they're not culpable for some things.
You can learn from it, but it won't change shit.
It won't change anything. And this is kind of what I was writing in my article, when people are so eager to blame somebody else, but they don't see their own involvement in the problem. So I'm not like 100%. There are certain things that boomers didn't do well, okay, for objectively. And there are people who are out there trying to help, right? They realize the reality and they're helping their children. But a lot of them, they just don't care. And then there are also fucked up millennials who are still living like with the boomers kind of mindset. I see recently, I started noticing this trend. A lot of women, they got married and they got pregnant. And I don't know if you've been watching social media, but there are a lot of women who are posting pregnancy pictures. They're posting a lot of their wedding pictures. And it should tell you something. It's like a cycle, kind of reminds me of 2008, although I was pretty young back then. But this is what I've heard anyway was happening too before the collapse. Like women started getting into the relationships. And then once the economy started correcting itself, right, and they were bailed out, they started divorcing this man. They have to have a kid. I talked about this with my husband because I was like, what's going on? I just see a lot of women getting married, getting pregnant, and like what's happening like with the finances in the economy that causes this kind of change, right? And then he told me, well, wait for a few years and then you'll see that they have to have a kid in order to get out of the marriage with most leverage that they possibly can. So something is definitely going on there. And yeah, I was just wondering, like, what's happening outside that causes this change in their behavior?
It's sinful nature. So, like, you see this even in, the Bible. So, you have in good times, women are loose. They tend to have, not every woman, I'm just saying in generalization. In Isaiah 3, you see these women with outstretched necks, puffed up, grabbing all these men's attention, and then bad times come. They're desperate for a man. But then what happens when there's good times again? They tend the cycle.
They tend to ditch the man and be strong, powerful, and independent again.
But what's unique in our situation is due to like boomer feminism and stuff is there's no devices where church or society or even families try to hold marriages together, hold women and men. They still tend to hold men accountable, but hold women accountable for their decisions and enforce them trying to stay within that marriage.
Hey, let me build on that, Nick. You used that word enforce.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a theory. I don't like this theory, but I think it's true. That force has to be used to keep women married.
Force is always going to be used. Just
force, enforcement, whatever. So society has to enforce that. Her father has to enforce that. No,
Right.
you belong to him. Economy, the economic circumstances has to enforce that. Yeah, you can leave. You don't get to leave with the money. You don't
Right.
get to leave with the kids. You have to basically have to force it. Okay, now if you don't force women to stay married
They want.
and you enable all the stuff that women feel, you know what? Now force women will appeal to the state to force the end of marriage. So
Right.
force will be used. I mean, it's
It's
a condition of human nature.
At some point we will have to use the force on them because it's getting out of control. Like men already lose so much, and women are not. I love your point that you brought up, because I've been also observing it from like media standpoint. I see what kind of content people are putting out there. There is no incentive in content creation to keep the marriages together, even to try, because all of the shows with harlots, they are promoting more harlots. They are promoting more delusions. Even though the attempt is to tell them the truth or to challenge them, to call them out, right? It's like
No,
they still
that's
get.
not the intent.
Well, okay, maybe to fuck them. I don't know, but
No.
then, or like get the clout.
Here's the funny thing. What's happening? What's been happening? The men are not wifing up women. They're not approaching women. They're not supporting women. So all this stuff, oh, you can say it promotes whoredom. It probably does. Because a woman without a man has to make money. So what do women always go to when they need to make money? What do they always think about? Yeah, it's that thing between their legs. It just happens. But okay, these channels are informing men that, gee, this is the way women really think. And it is true.
I agree.
And so since men don't have the ability to use force, and society can't use force to make women conform to morality, men are just not present for the women. I mean, that's what's happening. So are these shows good or bad?
Men are using the only force they have, which is their absence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
So, I mean, there's a lot of aspects to this. Yeah, maybe it's encouraging more women to do that. I don't doubt that in the least. But it's also encouraging men to, whoa, look at the craziness here. Do you really want to live with that? And they're choosing not to.
So is that the boomers' fault?
Yeah, we need to get back to boomers.
Yeah, let's get back to them, yeah. Well,
every generation plays the hand they're dealt. Are you familiar with that analogy or that term?
No, can you explain to us?
It comes from poker. You get five, they deal around and you get 5 cards and you look at your hand and you go, holy shit.
Okay.
This hand sucks.
Right. That's the hand you're dealt.
But I got to play this hand. I can't be dealt a new one. This is what I got. And so now I need to bluff and I need to fold. I need to do whatever. Sometimes you're dealt a really great hand and things work out well. Sometimes you're dealt a really crappy hand. But you have no choice to play the hand you're dealt. So the boomers were dealt a certain hand, and they made their decisions based on that, right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And each subsequent generation, man or woman, is dealt a certain hand. You can blame somebody all you want, but you got to play the hand you're dealt.
True.
Make the best of the hand you have.
So go ahead and blame the boomers, but understand the boomers and what they had to deal with. So if you can understand what the bad choices they made, well, still play the hand you're dealt, but don't make the same decisions and rise above that. Doesn't mean you're going to be wealthy. Doesn't mean you're going to have an easy life.
Well, who in the history of the world has been promised that?
Easy life.
Well, I would say all the attendees of Joel Osteen's church in Houston.
Oh, my hometown. All right.
Yeah.
My friends call me Osteen sometimes. Like, you know, I hate that guy, right? I think that's why they call me that.
I know who was promised the easy life. The feminists.
Yeah, did it turn out for them?
Well, I mean, while they are in the delusion, look, the final result. Okay, Steve, I agree with you. That this female nature needs to be exposed, right? And yes, this content needs to happen. I'm just concerned about how women behave afterwards, or how they view it, because you kind of have to understand like the female psychology, what's happening in her brain, why she does it. So she comes on the shows, she doubles down on her delusion instead of listening and learning. She's convinced, because there are still men who support her. There are still simps out there who are orbiting around her, who are funding her promiscuous lifestyle. And there are men who want her on her shows. She feels wanted, even though that it doesn't click in her brain that, okay, like these men are just like using her, they're just pimping her for the shows, for the views. And but a lot of women realize that, and they have no problem with that. They come on these shows, they even say to men that, look, you need us. And I tend to agree with them that these men need these women to keep the show afloat, because we don't see any difference. They don't show the full picture. They don't show that there are maybe other women, like more marriageable material women, maybe like slightly more rational women, like down-to-earth women. No, all we as content consumers are being exposed to is promiscuity and degeneracy.
Isn't that what they're teaching women?
And exactly, this is what they are teaching women. This is what they're teaching younger generations. I'm not concerned about old fucked up harlots. Okay, they've done. They are done. Okay, let's just like get over it. Let's forget about them. Let's just like ghost them. Don't mention them. Right? I'm concerned about younger generations, the 6-year-olds who see their mothers selling soft and hard porn on OnlyFans or on social media, on Instagram. This is what the girl learns at 6 years old. You can imagine what kind of generation is coming after millennials, after even X's are doing it,
Okay, let me take a different approach to this. The male's standpoint in relation to what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So the boomers that we're complaining about, the male boomers specifically, did the women give them what they needed?
No.
Probably not, no.
Okay. Are women today giving men what men desire?
No.
Or need? Okay, so what does a man need?
He needs
from
sex.
a woman.
Okay, he needs sex, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
among
What
other things. I'm just going straight there because I think I know where you are.
Okay, I just came up with a great analogy this morning. Okay, remember, if you know your etiquette, when someone sends you an invitation, what do you send back?
An RSVP.
Right.
Okay, RSVP. Let's use that acronym. What does a man need from a woman? Respect.
Mm-hmm.
SV, sexual variety.
Oh, okay.
P is peace.
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 Mm-hmm.
In other words, respect your husband.
Yeah.
Don't be a prude. Be willing and a little bit adventurous, because men have good imagination, sexual
We
variety.
do, yeah.
So do women. They just
And
don't admit
You're
yes,
right.
they do. And P is peace. Don't
Yes.
be a nag.
Yeah.
So RSVP, did the boomer men receive that from their wives and women? No. Xers, millennials, do these whores, 304s, OnlyFans? Okay, do any of these women really give RSVP to their men?
Well, they give the illusion. This is something that
Yeah.
I've heard in the manosphere. Men are talking, right? They say that the OnlyFans girls, they are different. They are somehow special and unique from other sex workers out there. They give men the illusion of a relationship, which is like, okay, men are paying, I don't know how it works usually, but it's probably a subscription charge, right? So men are being charged monthly for the content that the girl puts out there. And she gives them the idea that she's in a relationship with this man. But unlike a real relationship, a man doesn't really have to be responsible for this girl, so she satisfies his sexual needs. This is why I went straight for sex, because it seems to be that men are only concerned about sex. I know that in a stable, like abundant mindset, it's not the only thing that men should be concerned. I mean, sex is important, right? For for men biologically need it. So do women, but it shouldn't be the main focus,
Who are the customers? Who are the subscribers of OnlyFans? And this just came out in the last week or so.
Married men. Married men.
Okay. Bingo. Why? Why are married men the subscribers to all these young women?
They have shitty wives.
Wives aren't giving
Okay.
them what
Say that, Emma.
their wives aren't giving them what they want.
Okay. Do they get respect from their wives?
Probably
No.
not. Only
Any
when it
sexual
suits them.
variety. Oh, these men are
probably
out
not at
looking
all.
for sexual variety, sexual gratification. Some woman that it just demonstrates some sexuality, men. Do that. And do their women nag them? Yeah. So what do they do with these women? Well, they don't approach them. They don't really get any personal gratification. It's probably whack-off material. But then what else comes with it? Personal chats with these women. They get some relation with a, conversation with a woman who's not nagging them, with a woman who's not just sexually repressive, controlling him, saying no. It's so damn simple. And are men going to go and do that in general if they're getting it at home? Nick, are they going to go do that if they're getting it at home?
Most likely not. Most of the time, no. There's always going to be, philandering men, even in like the best of worlds, But generally, no. They're not going to go out and do that.
Yeah. I understand it. I understand it. Yeah, it's tricky because women in the marriage, they don't want to provide men with what men need and want from women. So what are men left with? They can go and pursue other women, right? They can go on OnlyFans, pay a small fee, and get at least the illusion that a woman is more respectable, right? A woman treats him with more respect. A woman delivers him maybe some sexual pleasure also. But guys, there is
no, he doesn't. He doesn't give a shit whether she treats him with respect. He just wants to be respected, and then he wants her to act like a whore, a slut, whatever for him. Now, these Christian women who want to put on their piety act and not be willing to be the slut at home for her husband, okay, she can go pretend to be the perfect woman in the world. But you know what? She is, okay, she is the subject of his love. But she is also a sexual object to her husband. Now, that might sound terrible. What the hell do women do when they go out to clubs? They dress in these short, slinky outfits. They show their bodies on the internet. They desire to be seen as a sexual object. So you know what? Let's not mix words here. A husband needs to treat his wife as a sexual object, as a piece of meat, kind of, in order. I mean, she has that part of her that just wants to be seen as that and just be, have him go crazy and do whatever because she's so irresistible. Now,
yeah,
if
right.
he's not giving her that feeling, yeah, she might be tempted to go get that feeling elsewhere.
Yeah, well, I mean, she does.
Okay, you know what? Tell me I'm wrong. Please tell me I'm wrong.
You're right. You're right.
If she does it publicly already, right? If she does it for other men, why can't she do it for her husband?
Yeah. Well, that's because they go in the whore stage. Then they want to capitalize on a good beta Christian man, where they could have their piety. Oh, they had their fun, but now they're going to settle, and then that guy gets fucked. No, he doesn't get fucked. He gets fucked, but not sexually.
No, just imagine this from a good man's perspective. He's out in the world. He's with his wife. She's dressed up and she's acting like a respectable woman. And he's standing there, and inside he's just saying, "Damn, man, she is just an animal in the bedroom. But yet she's so respectable to the world. I'm kind of a lucky man to have this woman." He's not judging her badly.
No.
He's not thinking bad things because of the shit she's willing to do with him.
Well, yeah, it's
and I'm not okay. There is so much sexual variety out here in the world.
Yeah.
People have imaginations. And I'm not okay. Your imagination can take you wherever it wants to go. It doesn't have to take you that far for a woman to be sexually adventurous and still stay within the realms of the non-bizarre. Let's put it that way.
Well, and
so
then
I'm not. Yeah.
Also, the social media here, there is a comment, enforces and trying to build women that their peace leaf is evergreen. Yeah, their sexuality is evergreen. Yeah. This is what women are so buying into. Okay, we always were exposed to delusion and lies since Genesis, right? And look at Eve. She bought into the lie that the serpent was trying to sell her. And when we look throughout what's happening to women, they are so prone to these lies that companies, corporations, content creators, like anybody who is grifting out of their beliefs, okay, sell them that their sexuality is evergreen. They'll pay you money so that they can keep hearing it over and over again. The lie sells. They don't want to challenge this, and this is on them long term. But because women are so short-sighted, it's coming back to their psychology, how they think. They won't view it as an immediate thing, like maybe in the future it might never happen to me, or I might be lucky because I have these genetics, or my mother was lucky, or my aunt, they remember this anecdotal evidence that happened to one of their friends, maybe. Oh, it didn't happen to her, therefore it's not going to happen to me. I'll be the lucky girl, I'll be the special and unique girl, because this is
Okay,
what we
so
keep hearing.
okay, true. So now talk about Adam and men. What's men's big feeling?
Simping.
Simping, and he didn't stop her.
Yes, he simped. Okay, I'll go along with what she said. He listened to her.
Hey, he wanted that sexual variety. And he's willing to simp to get it. But it usually doesn't work.
Probably, yeah. So, I mean, you can't blame things on women. Can't blame all the world's problems on women in the way they are. You can't blame it all on the men, but, we each have our feelings. You can't blame where we're at on the boomers, because who came before the boomers shaped them. You know what? When it all comes down to it, you really can't blame anybody, because it is what it is. Now, what's the solution? Play the hand you're dealt. And okay, so let's take it that, or start at that point. So what is the hand you're dealt? Well, you could do the secular red pill, which means, hey, it's all fucked. So go out and screw them whores, because you're not going to do any more damage, theoretically, and you can have your fun. Or you can say, well, I'm just not going to participate in this wackiness, and I'm going to go to God, and I'm just going to, live my life in the most moral way that I can, recognizing that I may fall at some times, but acknowledging my failures and do the best I can. I mean, you can enjoy the decline and participate in it, or lead your life otherwise, and then try to warn other people. You really can't tell them anything, but be open-minded or aware of people who are looking for answers, and then just kind of befriend them and guide them.
Even though it may go to shit, you want to try to at least help others and leave the world a better place than you found it. So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Emma has been quiet as usual.
I've just been listening to you.
And that's what she always says.
Well, my final thought is, I suppose, well, not final, but you know what I mean? Every generation's made its own mistakes. And I mean, each generation is trying to sort of find their own feet, but correct the mistakes that have been passed on, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, it doesn't seem to be going the right way, though, does it? I'm grateful for some of the. I mean, I've got boomer parents, so I'm quite grateful for some of the ways that they've brought me up. But I'm also don't agree with a lot of the ways they try. But but some of the, I can't think what the word is. I want the morals they've instilled into me. I'm grateful for. I'm one of those rare ones that my age that isn't in like thousands and thousands of debt. I was always brought up, if you can't afford it, you can't have it. So I was always discouraged from having credit cards and loans and everything. And for that, I am really grateful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As always, Emma sits back, she takes it all in, and she brings up a very insightful comment. And let me point out the insight of that. To be grateful for the things that the previous generations have instilled in you and build upon that. Recognize their mistakes, but she didn't blame, she was appreciative. So maybe we all have to be more appreciative of what we were given and understanding of that they couldn't give what they didn't have. What do you think, Emma?
Yeah, I agree. It's it is. I suppose. I mean, yeah. I mean, some of their ways are like too heavy-handed, or But it is recognizing, I suppose, what they have passed on. What they've passed on is what they think was best, according to how they were raised. And yeah, you can either be appreciative of some of the things that they pass on, or you can be like, actually, I don't agree with that, and I'm going to do something different. Unfortunately, a lot of it is that people have tried to change what's been passed on, and yeah, it's not working. And it's been a steady decline.
There's some silence there.
You better fill the silence, Nick.
Oh, I can. So yeah, we're dealt a hand. We can be grateful for the good, and we can try to, be faithful. Of course, I'm a Christian. That's pretty obvious from the name, right? And we can try to be faithful to God and follow His precepts, follow His word. And He teaches us to take stewardship and try to pass it on to the generation and the generation after.
Yeah.
Because that's what's good for the world. That's what's good for families. It's good for society. Create stable families, churches, and society is following God and His word. And so, yeah, be grateful for the good that's passed on, but also be critical of what's passed on as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have an eternal and objective standard.
You do, and you have to care for your kids and for the future of the upcoming generations. So you can't just think for yourself. And this is where I think a lot of people are kind of like they're trying to. Oops, yeah, I see Ashley here. They are trying to do the things the way like boomers did, without realizing that the times have changed. It's not going to play out in the same way as it did play out for them. So I'm not talking about like the wise boomers and the wisdom that they passed on. I picked up a lot from my parents, although my parents, they are more Xers. I just looked at the time. Yeah, my parents are both Xers, but they picked up things from previous generations, right? And there is a lot of wisdom there. Like Steve, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, because you make us think, like, instead of just like blaming one or the other, and there should be self accountability for your own stupid choices, because you should realize that you are the one who can either behave like somebody stupid and like a degenerate gambler out there, stupid with finances, being not very thoughtful and rational, not thinking about the consequences for yourself and for the future generations. This is our duty to care for what's coming after us, so that our children
back to stewardship, which is something that Plutarch and I were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And he really liked that I brought that up. So
I like it too. Yeah.
And he's talked about that with you. So, that's, hey, let's point out something. Your relationship with him, your marriage, you do a lot of talking and you share these ideas. And again, Elena is probably not the perfect wife.
Not
She's
even
a
a
little
little
bit flaky at times. But, I think she's a good and a fun woman. And Plutarch speaks highly of her. But at the same time, they have good conversations. So she's not perfect, but she respects him. I don't know about other things, but based on her personality, I think the sexual variety is probably not lacking. and she doesn't really challenge him and nag him. So I think there's mostly peace. So, for the most part, my external observation was, yeah, she didn't know about this acronym RSVP, but she's probably not doing too bad in that area.
Well, if I was, he probably would kick me to the curb a long time ago and go out to Eastern Europe somewhere to get another chick from,
Oh, do you recommend going to Eastern Europe to import a new woman?
It's funny that April actually asked me the other day when I called in. She was asking me about the passport bros. And look, because feminism was born in Russia, it's coming from that area. You have to be still careful because there are a lot of feminists out there. And you still have to apply critical thinking and the vetting process when you select a woman. You can't just rely on the trends. This is why I'm not a fan of trend, because when you do it, every time you say that, oh, okay, if I just deal with a trad wife who calls herself a trad wife or who associates herself with a trad wife, you see a lot. Yeah, look at Nick, right? He knows better. You see a lot of undercover who's there. You see a lot of undercover feminists there who put the shield. They pretend to be somebody that they are not. But this is why you have critical thinking, rational thinking, that allows you to vet this girl, challenge her, put her through shit tests. Women put you through shit tests all the time. And this is why my recommendation to guys, wherever you go, feminism is everywhere. It's everywhere. It's even in the cultures that are not initially supportive of it, like Muslim countries, right, where women are covering themselves. You don't know what they're wearing underneath. I've seen ones like that. They were wearing somebody showed, I saw a video, maybe it was a joke, I don't know, but they were wearing swimming suits under the cover, so it's like you have to see what's under there,
Oh,
what are the layers?
Wait a minute. Are you saying those Saudi Arabian women who are all covered up might be wearing a G-string?
You don't know. I mean, publicly they look like they are innocent and cute and stuff. And this is the problem with trends. Every time you guys rely on a trend, you give away your neocortex brain function that is supposed to tell you, okay, now rational thinking. Let's ask her this. Let's see how she behaves, right? So let's analyze her actions. When you rely too much on a trend to do the job for you, or the culture, where you think that culturally these women tend to be more, submissive or something. No, not necessarily. Each case is individual,
So did you get a Stanley Cup?
I don't know.
Silenced. Did you?
No, I'm saying that you guys need to you can't trust women what they say. You watch their actions. Yeah, you can see two women coming from the same family, raised by the same parents. One of them can be a total feminist, a whore, right? Another one can be a marriageable material. It kind of depends,
So, okay, let's bring this back. Why do we blame boomers?
Everybody wants a scapegoat. And you know what? Maybe they're part of the reason you're dealt a shitty hand, but the key can't change it. We like to fantasize. What if?
Yeah.
Well, my life would be so much better if X, Y, Z. It's not a video game. You can't press a restart button. This is life.
Is it because boomers were? Is it boomers that were the last generation that apparently had it quite good?
I don't
Maybe.
even know.
You know, they had a
sort
lot
of
better
good.
quality of life than we do today. You know, more, you got more for your money and, you know, all that.
Well,
Maybe it was the last generation where the pace of change was understandable and reasonable.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't the internet, there wasn't all this electronics, there wasn't so many things have just accelerated the rate of change. I mean, up until the 90s, okay, well, mid 90s at least, you didn't have the internet, you didn't have cell phones. So, okay, things were changing, but as the internet became possible, then everybody had cell phones. But there were the flip phones where you had to actually text and use brief language. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, now, okay, then it went to, you know, you had enough characters, so you could send the full message. And then, smartphones. And so the rate of change has just accelerated. So maybe boomers were the last one where the rate of change was actually slow enough where they could manage it. But also, yeah, they also had it. Things worked out pretty well for the boomers financially and whatnot. And they were given a more traditional starting point than the millennials or the X's. Remember, we have momentum is just continuing on the path of depravity or whatever you want to call it.
But the boomers also did not everything work out well. Their families, a lot of times, they were like some of the first maybe about the first generation they had experienced the abortions, the birth control, the hormonal stuff, and you know, the rampant divorce.
True. It was eroding, and they experienced a lot of that.
Yeah.
But it's way the fuck worse now.
Of course
it was for them.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they were experiencing it. They didn't know what to do with it. We don't know what to do with it. Or the younger generations. I can't speak for you. Well, I will speak for you. Younger people than me don't know what the fuck to do with it.
Yeah.
I'm a bit nostalgic. I sometimes wish the internet would die, but then I would lose all my friends.
The connection, yeah.
I've got more friends that live in my laptop than I do in real life. So
I know, it's crazy. I met my husband initially online too. We started talking on through a dating website because it's like I was so buried with work that I didn't even have time to go out and actually talk to guys. So yeah, it's interesting how the world has changed, and I still think that social media is just a neutral tool. People haven't figured out yet how to use it properly, and this is why we are experiencing what we are experiencing today. It's going to take us a while to undo the damage that has been done, for sure, and it's going to take us a while to learn how to use this new tool properly. You know, I still think that if women want to sell their body parts, they shouldn't be using social media. They can use other platforms such as OnlyFans. This is why they exist, right? But all I see a lot of porn being sold, like soft porn, they don't allow you to swear. What's fascinating, they don't allow you to swear on social media. They beep you, every time you do. So you have to cover it up with some words there with the tags and, like other stuff. But they allow almost naughty pics on Instagram in particular.
Yeah.
And it's like a Pornhub, and there are so many kids who are using this platform to stay in touch with their friends, but not only that, also to, enjoy the hypersexuality of women. What's fascinating is that women expose their bodies publicly, but they don't want to be submissive wives and give SVP to their husbands. This is just absurd.
Yeah. Well,
It's
there's no
kind of
cons-
funny.
Funny.
Okay. Let's think. How easy is it? Let's just think of simplicity and what you have to do. So, if women don't like working, right?
Mm-hmm.
Going to work, working 8 hours a day, coming home to your cats and box wine, or if you're married, coming home and then splitting the chores, and she just hates working.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make that. Most women, some make a lot of money, most women don't. So why the hell does a woman work? All she has to do is RSVP. Okay, how many hours is that going to take her a day? I mean, she's going to have to do some chores and keep the house clean and whatnot. Can she do that in? Okay, let's include time cleaning, time cooking, time buying the groceries.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's even include the sexual time with her husband. How many hours a day is she really going to have to work to get that? And if she has modest expectations, and she's in it with him, and even if they're living in a crappy apartment, is that not a better life? Can she not do that in less than 8 hours a day and not have to go out and work?
Well, the idea
It
that
ought to be.
What's that, Nick?
So it
ahead.
ought to be, but the hive mind.
The idea that she has to do something good for the benefit of a man, it's contradicting all of the feminist manuscript scripture.
That
You
the
know,
hive mind,
yeah, that
all
she-
her friends, all society, everybody she's around, the way her family might have raised her. Oh, you shouldn't be doing this. You need to be a productive member of society. You're not a productive member of society. This is not real work. And no.
Well, and this is why the division is coming, and women don't want to be the housewives anymore, because society tells them that being a housewife is not something respectable. It's not something valuable, because you can be a paper pusher or you can do another useless job out there that men could live without for millennia, right? Nobody really cared if you could do it or not. And here you go, she has this useless degree in marketing or something else, and she sells her useless services online. She makes money independently in her mind from the man.
So what are the smartest women doing to achieve this?
To achieve what, like independence?
No, to achieve a good life. The smartest women.
You mean like define smart? I see smart.
Okay,
today,
well, there's
yeah.
the intelligent women who are
Mhm.
going out and becoming attorneys, living in New York City, working 70 hours a week and building up their career, and then they have no kids. And then they're lonely. So are those the smartest women? No. So there's the woman who is the OnlyFans.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And living that life, making a lot of money. Then there's the average woman who's just working some, working at a fast food restaurant or restaurant or whatever. She doesn't get that. She's got to struggle day to day because she's worried about money and she doesn't have any companionship. So, hey, it's a new thing. What are the smartest women doing to get their provided for lifestyle. Okay. You're not jumping at this. So it's the trad women.
Imagine that.
I was thinking about that.
Imagine that.
So they're
Yeah.
pretending.
Mhm.
Okay. Think about this. RSVP. What are the trad women selling to the world, to their husbands? Oh, yes, I respect my husband. Oh, yes, I'm a trad wife. I'm submissive. Call that sexual variety. And yes, oh, yeah, he's the head of the household, and I follow what he does, and I'm submissive. That's peace. They're selling that to the world and to their husband. Do they really believe that? Or is it kind of an act, kind of a mask? Well, yeah, we have our theories on that.
Yeah. Well, and even then, I was watching a few trad wives. They don't actually talk about submission. So they don't actually teach women submission and accountability. See, the problem is that all women today, they need guidance. They need guidance from strong, rational, and masculine men, regardless of where they are. But instead of helping these promiscuous women who are done, like, why not to refocus on somebody who at least is trying to send the right message? Is it 100% accurate and correct that what they are trying to do, what the trad wives are trying to do? No, because they need correction. But why not to help at least the women who are trying, instead of spending hours and hours promoting these whores? This is something I just can't comprehend. And like, I might be wrong, like I might not get it, whatever, I just, like, where is the rational thinking here? Why are the standards for women so low that men degrade themselves to the level of a harlot? You waste your time, you waste your energy, you basically waste the quality of the show, that you could actually do something good, for the upcoming generations, the stewardship that we were talking about today, right? Why to waste it on a horse?
Because it's what sells.
Yeah, right. But then how are you different from a whore who is also chasing clout, attention, and money?
Exactly. Hey, but it's like you have these, Christians, and then all of a sudden they have some excuse for, for money or for clout. They backtrack their stances and compromise their morals.
Okay, Elena. Formulate your latest questions into a concise thought as a question for a future podcast. Because I have something that I'd like to say about that from both the male and female side, but I'm not going to share it now because it would derail this topic.
Yes, I know. I'm trying to get it because I've just written an article about it, and I hope that you enjoy this article, guys. And if you disagree, in fact, if you really want to debate us, we will probably do the call-in when people can call in and, share their observations. But I would love to see what you, Steve, are going to say in regards to this topic. So yeah, we will dive in deeper into this topic and talk about it on a different live stream. Cool. So yeah, as a summary, we shouldn't be blaming others for what we are doing. We can only be in charge of the actions that we take with the cards that we are given.
Yep. You don't have a control over the cards you're dealt. It's what you do with them.
Yep.
Hey, Nick, if you had control of the cards you were dealt, would you be in the position you are right now?
Don't know. I had certain
that's
cards that were dealt.
Glenn.
I had certain cards that were dealt, and you know, I thought I did well with them. Apparently, I didn't in some respects, but all I can do is deal with what I have right now. So.
Yeah. Emma, any final thoughts?
No,
Suggestions?
no, it's like you said. It's all right. It's no good blaming everybody else. We have to hold ourselves accountable and learn. Learn what we can from other people's mistakes and our own.
Yeah. And try to do better for our children. I'm really concerned about kids, guys. I really care about children. I used to work with them a lot, and I can see how propaganda, and coming back to Steve's point earlier today, what were they exposed to when they were growing up in their 20s, when they were young and like not very rational, because people don't really think with their brain when they are in their 20s, right? They think with what feels right, what feels good. But the problem also I see today is that people kind of stay in that era when they were young. They don't transition mentally into a different stage, so they don't mature. They kind of want to stay where they were back when they were young, when they were 20s, when they had these epic dreams about life. And this is where I would actually challenge boomers, because I think it's something that they kind of installed, like this idea that follow your heart, follow your dreams, right? Follow your desires. So I see a lot of older people who probably shouldn't pursue their dreams in their 60s now. They shouldn't have done it, what they did in their 60s, but because they dreamed about it their entire life, and they so wanted to do it that they didn't consider the circumstances around them. They didn't consider the age difference, and their physical capabilities. So they went and did it anyway, because you only live once, right? You only live once. You can't
YOLO.
YOLO. You can't let this dream pass you. You have to chase it. You have to pursue it. And this is the same kind of ideology. I call it like feminist bullshit, really. That has been perpetrated in our society also for younger generations, because this is how a lot of millennials are thinking. If boomers did it, look, they were successful, they achieved their life goals, I'm going to do even better, right? This is what they tell themselves, and it's a lie, because they don't consider circumstances. They don't consider socio-economical state of the country, right?
So
they don't consider politics.
How much of boomers' lives has been, as Elena just said, follow your dream instead of do your duty? And if you're following your dreams, you're kind of neglecting your duty. And if you're neglecting your duty, does it actually lead to contentment, happiness? So do you ever go back and do your duty, or do you just follow the next dream, pleasure seeking? So does that define boomers? They followed their dreams instead of doing their duty? That's a question to the three of you.
Yeah, that's a good question. So the question is, should people follow their dreams, or should people fulfill their duties?
No, what defined boomers? Did they follow their dreams, or did they do their duty?
Duty.
What was that, Emma?
Duty. Well, most of the boomers I know did that. Followed their duty or did their duty. Or
They could do both, right?
I guess, yeah.
I mean, ideally,
I'm not prescribing the answer. I'm just bringing up something for discussion.
Ideally, because it kind of feels nice and good. Yeah, we have a comment here, Ethos from Terrace, talking about it is worthless. What has worth is more women loving men. That doesn't happen by talking. I tend to agree. Yeah, we are just elaborating on these topics. But I also see, like we talked about big podcasts, they they don't change the mindset of people either. So, I mean, if you expect the content creators to change your mindset, only you guys can do it.
You can't change a woman's mind by talking to her.
Exactly.
You can only change the man's mind can change by understanding things.
Mhm.
Then he changes. Okay, it's frame control, it's leadership. When he leads, she will choose to follow or not follow. Women are pliable. You cannot convince a woman by using logical argument. And hey, I'm the most guilty person of trying to do that, and it's always failed. So talking is for men. Men need to get it through their head. Oh, this is what it means. Then men need to set up the boundaries and the conditions and have the leadership and the frame control, because I can only control myself, and let the woman react to you. And remember, you are accountable to God. She is accountable to you. So make her react to you. Never react to a woman or minimize that.
Well, exactly. And this is why we need harder, stricter guidelines and standards for women, so that women have any incentive to improve. Because when there is no immediate outcome, immediate discomfort for women are not going to change their behavior, because they already get what they want. And I'm actually writing it in my article, guys. Please go read it. Ethos, I think you will enjoy this article. Okay, and I'm gonna have no business loving them. Okay, here, if women can't logic, then they have no business voting.
Well, women can't logic, and yes, they have no business voting.
Well, they can logic.
Who's the foolish men who think women will ever be able to logic?
Women can logic, but that's not their standard mode of thinking.
It's not. And it's not being even encouraged by our society, because we keep telling people that women just are, like, which kind of implies that they are perfect the way they are, right? That there shouldn't be any incentive for them to improve, because men lower their guard. There are no higher standards and expectations placed on women. And even if I try to raise the expectations, and I do my best, guys, if you check my work, it's been pretty consistent for quite a few years. It's kind of pointless, because men are the ones who are like deciding which women they want and don't want. And if I tell women, okay, ladies, don't be whores, right? Don't be promiscuous. Don't be entitled. Be submissive. Give your man peace, right? All of this.
Oh, what the Bible says?
Yeah, right. If I'm promoting like exactly what the Bible says, and then women see that, oh, there is an easy way out. Why should we work on ourselves? Why should we listen to this girl who has been only married for 8 years? And like, why should we give her our time? We will go somewhere where it's easy, where men want us, where we get more clout, more attention, more money, more independence. And then they go on the bigger podcasts that want these women there, right? Because we don't see any other variety on these shows. And like, women choose what's easy, right? It's a fact. They choose very easy specialties that are completely useless. They won't work. if they don't have to, if there is the easy way out. So I can hold the standards all high I want. Pearl is doing the same thing, right? There are quite a few women who are trying to do it, like Tread wives even are trying to do it. They're saying, ladies, you should be more submissive. You should try to, cook for your husband, right? But like men want something else, and these high value men that beat themselves in the chest, that say that they are masculine, but yet they choose the harlots. It's like, okay, I'm a young woman, which way should I pick? Which way is easier for me to get what I want?
So,
Like,
Elena,
wife or this?
so if a woman listens to you, a young woman, will she be able to meet Mr. Chad Thunderstroke?
I don't know. It depends on a lot of factors. I can't promise her that, because she has to do like a lot of work, and like it depends on like her objective sexual market value and what she brings to the table.
I don't think Elena quite got that, but Emma did. She was smiling big time down there.
Well, I mean, I know, I get it. Yes, they probably won't, but when they get the easy way out, that like, yes, here you are, you go on the big show, you just expose your titties so low that everybody can see them, and then you are sitting like with the big content creators, right, who can give you more access to more cloud, more chats out there. Well, sure. Like, what do you think a brainless girl will do?
That's easy.
Right. And it sells. I mean, all women are capable of sexuality. They can all sell it. Do they all execute upon it? No. But that's where we have women who try to hold other women to higher standards. I've heard some comments saying that, well, women need to unite. Women need to start shaming whores. I'm already doing it. Would they listen? Would they want to behave better? Do they have the incentive to even try to behave better and listen to what I say? Or like other women who are in a sort of traditional relationship, tell them?
Well, hey, let's do an experiment, a challenge to Elena. You need to dress up as a Russian woman twice your age and come up with a spiel to shame those whores.
Oh, you mean like we're a grandma?
Exactly. And give them a piece of your mind. I'd love to
I
see
actually
that.
was wearing a scarf. I have a Russian printed scarf. I was wearing it. I sometimes do it, but it's just like most of my audience is men, guys. And this is what I'm saying. Like there is no unity in the message that we are trying to send out in the manosphere, in the red pill, because it kind of splits apart, enjoy the decline, and like, let's use this horse and let's promote this horse, even if they unintentionally, they don't have the purpose to promote them. This is effectively what they are doing. And women are not stupid. Women see it, and women even call it out. They say that, well, this man, without us, there is no show. And yes, if you are only talking to horse, they are kind of right there. They make sense. We don't see the variety. We don't see. I'm not saying that like there are big numbers of married women out there lined up and waiting. No, you have to do the work, right? They are the minority, because for many, many decades, whoredom was normalized, and it still is being normalized by whom? Oh, everybody, really, by the institutions infiltrated by feminism, by the content creators. They are part of the equation because they're representatives of mass media. They are accountable for the content they produce.
I have a statement, and I just had to think about it. Punctuation matters. When I say the same words in order, now you write these down. Woman. Without her, man is lost. Now, let me say it again. Woman without her man is lost.
Mm.
Okay, now completely different meanings.
Ah,
I
right.
get it.
Same
Yeah.
words. Where you place the comma or the pause determines completely different outcomes. And both are kind of true, right?
And man needs a helpmeet, and woman was designed, for man.
We're designed to complement each other.
Yeah, we don't like that word compliment.
Yeah, I wasn't meaning as
complementarianism.
I was but yeah.
Yeah, I know.
What?
I know.
Compliments
I'm just,
fine.
Well, from
Not merely
biological,
that, but yeah.
from biological and psychological standpoints, men and women are better together than they are apart. So they were kind of created and designed to complement each other.
you know
Right?
what? Next thing you're going to be saying they were designed to fit together too.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Not to kill each other, not to destroy each other, right? In the divorce court.
Oh, you're talking about natural law, right? Nature.
It's almost like design. Isn't it?
Design. Yeah. So they're designed for each other. That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you actually break down, and I think Rollo Tomassi at some point, long time ago, he did an interesting video where he was talking about the difference between male brain and female brain. And there are significant differences in how women and men are thinking. And maybe it's for a reason, But what feminism was saying to men and women, like everyone is equal, your brain is equal. Well, the biology we can't really fight. Like women have teeth and ass, right? Men have other things, right? But everybody is special, unique, and equal.
So, feminism is like a philosophy of rebellious equalism that rejects reality, rejects design, rejects nature.
The difference in brain. I sent out a link to Nick and Elena. Women Know Your Limits by Harry Enfield. I don't know if you guys looked at it, but Emma, you have to look up this. Have you heard of Harry Enfield?
Yeah. Well, if you're meaning the British comedian, yeah.
Yes. Oh, okay. You got it. You have to look this up. Women Know Your Limits. And it's like 2.5 minute skit. And it's black and white.
From the Fast Show. The Fast Show was amazing.
And it's back in the day when, you could actually talk about things and make fun of things. And it's hilarious. Women Know Your Limits.
And look here, Ethos also, I love this comment. Feminism is collectivism marketed as individualism.
Yep.
Yeah.
It kind of goes back to feminism and the unity of feminism and Marxism. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's an illusion, ultimately.
And see, like coming back to boomers, guys.
Yep.
Boomers are hyper individualistic. They are kind of focused on themselves, like what gives me joy, what brings me pleasure, something that Steve pointed out earlier, like the chase of these experiences, the phenomena all the time, right? They are not thinking about community. They're not thinking really about society. Because they are so hyper individualistic, they are self-concerned, self-absorbed, like what do I get, and this is something where I would challenge the red pill guys actually when they say chase your work on your money muscles game all the time without considering anything else. It's kind of puts a lot of men into this individualistic approach. that men don't really think about, like, okay, but if I act like that, my actions will have consequences for myself and for other people around me.
Money muscles game. I mean, you could take it to be this like degenerate, doesn't care about other people, or it could just be saying mastering yourself. You could say mastering your. That's the good part about it. So like I take that, I say, yeah, money muscles game, or I just say games confidence because I'll talk to people. It doesn't have to relate with women. It can.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, money, your success, you're stable. You can, provide muscles. You can protect. You have you're in control of your body, and game. You have some sort of frame, able to talk to people. Some sort of.
But see, this is where I think there is a difference between game and frame. Game, if men are just following the script, like some guys tell them, just do this, or do that, and then the girls will like you, and then
Are you talking about like pickup artistry, like
yeah, in a
phrases
way.
to say, how to manipulate?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think there should be like, and I'm pretty sure like there is a difference between the game and the actual frame, because if you just do what the gamers tell you to do, yeah, you might be lucky to attract the girls. They will teach you how to attract the girls, but maintaining the girls and the frame, because without the frame, everything else is sort of it kind of it's very short-sighted. It's very short term. It doesn't last. Even if you have all of the money muscles game, but if you don't have frame, a girl will twist you the way she wants, and then she she will dump you. She will replace you with somebody who has the frame.
Yeah, okay. Right. But it's all about confidence.
That's what I was saying.
So, part of my recovery from my nice guy phase, I took a course in Commando Krav Maga, Israeli martial arts fighting. They fucking ran the crap out of me, and it was hard. And I learned how to fight because I didn't know how to do that. Do I go out and fight now? No. But I learned a lot of things. I proved it to myself. I have skills, so I have a greater level of confidence. So I can go in and understand male dynamics now because I have something to back it up. And I can relate to people, and I, if need be, I can I definitely can defend myself better than I used to. The other thing with game, I didn't really know how to approach women. Well, when I learned that approach and that going, and okay, maybe you're going to get shot down, throw out some quips, you learn their mannerisms. Okay, now I have confidence in that area. Just because I have learned game does not mean I need to go out and use it to pick up a lot of women. Just because I know how to fight does not mean I go out and have to pick up a lot of fights or, fight a lot.
Right.
It's just skills. And those can be good skills to have. Mm-hmm. But those skills are not the end all be all. And the skills don't lead you to happiness. And yes, ultimately, knowing game and knowing how to fight can help a man build his confidence, which contributes to his frame and his ability to handle whatever comes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, this Christian pill idea that, men should be nice and they shouldn't fight. Well, that's pacifism. That's not maleness. And, men shouldn't learn this game thing because all they're going to use it for is go out and sleeping with lots of women. Well, that's bullshit too, because you should know how to approach women and talk to women. And you can use it anytime on any woman, even a 70-year-old woman. You can say something funny and she'll giggle like a little schoolgirl and have a fun interaction. It doesn't matter. It's just, it makes you more socially skilled.
Yeah, and also having frame will help you to decide which fights to pick and which fights to avoid.
Yeah.
If you just get involved in all of the fights, it's just it's a waste of time. And selecting your enemies carefully, this is what frame will help you do. Are these
But it's
enemies even
worse
worthy?
to avoid all fights.
It
It's
is,
worse to be so
definitely.
timid that you're not willing to stand up for yourself and challenge people. And
Right.
if I say this, oh, maybe they won't like me.
Who
Screw that.
cares?
I don't care.
Yeah,
There are things in this life worth fighting for and fighting over.
exactly.
And you're a coward, like some of these pastors that I know, like going after my friends. They're effeminate pieces of crap. They do nothing when society and families are rotting.
Mm-hmm.
They're the same
when a
people.
man-
They're the same people when the Muslims would invade would bend over and take it up the rear.
So those men, the ones you call cowards,
Yep.
are they the leader in their home?
Maybe
Or do
not.
their wives also not have a lot of respect for them?
A lot of times there's no sex and wives don't respect their husband. They rule the roost. They are what you call like the matriarchs in the church. They run the show.
So do cowardly men get the sex from the women they are attached to?
Usually not, no.
Well, this is why they go out and sell the popular narrative that other women are interested in, so that they can ban some other chicks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Cowardly men, some of them do, a lot of them don't. What do you think, Nick?
No,
Are cowardly men less faithful?
In some ways, yes. Some ways, no. Like you can have like cowardly men. Like I'll use church for example. They may be popular, they may have prestige, and they might have their wife's respect for that, but they don't ever want to ruffle feathers because that's all they have is the public's opinion of them. They don't have that for themselves. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, total sense.
It's a facade. They have no internal or very little internal, self-respect, frame, and kind of a don't give a crap attitude to the world. As I said, that they're like when Islam was invading these Christian nations back in the days of the Crusades, they're the type of people that would, compromise with the enemy and, basically bend over and take it up the butt, which did happen.
Wait, there's something in the early Christian past about the martyrs.
Yeah. They said, to hell, we're going to serve God. You can kill me.
Yeah, that's kind of the opposite of what you were describing here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or some of in the Christian countries, no, we're going to fight you to the death because you're not coming. You're not going to destroy our home. You're not going to destroy our lands. You're not going to rape our children and our wives and sell them into captivity. No. Better to die.
Wow.
So how long are you going to keep this stream going?
Oh, like I was going to wrap it up, but then Nick blew up my mind with this one. Wow. Well, I would love to get back to this topic. Can we go back to it? Not right now, but in the next live stream. I just want to make sure that we talk about it. So they would much rather die.
This is your stream. You can do whatever you want.
I'm planning for next time.
I know.
I would love to talk about this. So there were principles, right, that they didn't want to give up, and they were worth fighting for. Like what makes me think, like today, what kind of principles people have? what's the value of a high value man or a high quality woman, let's call it? How much clout she has? How much sexuality she portrays on social media, publicly available for everyone to see? How much attention she gets? These are the successful people that we are so following and bowing down to them and saying, but I've heard it quite a few times. Guys were saying, build your own platform, make this show big, and la 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 la. Then this man will listen to you. You know, I don't want that. I don't value clout as something valuable. Like, what kind of principles do people live by now? This is my question, and I would love to talk about it next time, guys, because I think this stream is taking us. It's a good stream. I really enjoy the conversation today, and I'm in a mood. Yeah. And Ethan's here. You get punished for standing up for truth and justice. Also, neither leads, the state leads because both serve the state. There is no matriarch. They are all miserable.
Yeah, you do get punished for standing up for truth and justice, but I did. I still did it anyways.
Yeah. Well, because you have principles, Nick. Unlike some people, you know, you're willing to fight for your principles. You're willing to even sacrifice your short-term interests in pursuit of a greater good. Because you have the mission, you have the purpose. A lot of content creators today don't have the purpose, or maybe their purpose is to, get the cloud, more attention, more revenue, and ban the cute chicks. You know, if that's the purpose, like, I'm really disappointed then in the red pill. That's public out there. You know, there are good, very good, credible content creators that I still support and follow, and I do appreciate their work. But the mission of the red pill, it just, what is it? That's where
that's another topic for another day.
Yes.
Stop bringing up all these great things that I want to talk about.
Yeah, I know.
But
well,
hey, don't we have some upcoming stuff, Steve?
Oh, we got a lot of upcoming.
And I think
stuff.
Elena and Emma have some upcoming things too, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So on, what did we decide? Tuesday.
Yep.
Tuesday and when. Tuesday nights and Wednesday.
No,
Monday nights and Wednesday nights.
Okay, let me summarize it, guys who are watching. On the resurgence on the new YouTube channel by Nick, Steve, and Plutarch, my husband. Please go and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Guys are going to have live streams on Mondays and Wednesdays at 5:45 p.m. Pacific. But we will actually write down the time zones for you so that you can see. And
so on Monday we're going to talk. I'm going to lead it, and I came up with this concept: the color of law enforcement. So few people are aware of what, quote, the color of law means. So I'm going to compare the color of law versus law. They're two different concepts, and it just totally relates to so much that's going on. I encourage you to
it's on Monday, right? On Monday?
Yeah. And the title of this series is Exposing the Narrative. And exposing the narrative is, hey, we're going to look at the shit that's going on in the world, what's influencing us, and explain it to you and actually expose the propaganda, the philosophy, the whole worldview behind it, and say, okay, here's a way to understand what you see going on in the world. We're going to expose the narrative and go back to the roots of where this comes from and use logic and rational thinking and discuss these things. And you can decide whether you want to believe what we say. But again, my goal is to make people think, not tell them what to think.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great show, guys. Please join us on the Resurgence YouTube channel. Go click the subscribe button, the notification bell button. Guys are going to do 2 live streams a week. And then on my channel, we are going to add the series with Emma, also known as Guru Starlight. Yeah, that's her acting name, with Anita Saga. We are going to debunk a lot of bullshit that I've collected on Instagram. So I'm going to share a few videos with you. We will talk about them, and we will do a call-in session where you guys can call in and tell us what you think about these videos. So we will try to keep it around 1 hour or so, maybe 1 hour and 15 minutes maximum, so that it's not super long. But it's going to be a lot of fun, and we need to keep doing this. We used to do it with Glenn Lawrence, but now he's busy doing other things. And yeah, we still need to do the work, and we will do it. Okay, so having said that, I think that we are good to go, guys, unless you want to add something.
Well, on Wednesdays, we have countercultural sexuality on the Resurgence as well. I think we were talking about Jezebels in the church, so it'll be good, some good stuff.
Yeah, that's yours. You're going to lead that one, Nick.
Oh yeah, familiar territory.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll have to do the banner for you guys. I need a picture from Steve.
Hey, did you check your phone today?
Did you send it?
I know I've got to do mine as well.
Okay. I thought you wanted to put a picture with a truck.
I didn't get that done yet. Don't expect me to be totally on top of things.
Okay.
In the future.
No worries. Yeah. We will update the picture. Okay, I'll use the one that you sent for now. So yeah, I'll set it up for you guys so that you're ready to go on Monday. Well, thank you everyone who joined us today. Very interesting discussion. Thank you guys for your kind support, and I hope that you enjoy reading my articles. They're a little lengthy, but they are, I think, decent food for thought. You can tell me what you think about them, and if you disagree, you can come over here and debate me. Okay, so I'll see you all next time. Remember to please like, share, and subscribe. Your support is highly appreciated. Leave your comments under the videos. Tell us what you think about these topics, and we'll see you all next time. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.